Airbus A380. The Airbus A380 is a wide-body aircraft manufactured by Airbus. It is the world's largest passenger airliner. Airbus studies started in 1988 and the project was announced in 1990 to challenge the dominance of the Boeing 747 in the long-haul market. The then designated A3XX project was presented in 1994. Airbus launched the €9.5 billion $10.7 billion A380 program on 19 December 2000. The first prototype was unveiled in Toulouse on 18 January 2005, with its first flight on 27 April 2005. Difficulties in electrical wiring caused a 2-year delay and the development cost ballooned to €18 billion. It obtained its type certificate from the European Aviation Safety Agency (EASA) and the US Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) on 12 December 2006. It was first delivered to Singapore Airlines on 15 October 2007 and entered service on 25 October. Production peaked at 30 per year in 2012 and 2014. However, Airbus concedes that its $25 billion investment for the aircraft cannot be recouped. On 14 February 2019, after Emirates reduced its last orders in favor of the A350 and the A330neo, Airbus announced that A380 production would end by 2021. The full-length double-deck aircraft, sometimes nicknamed the Superjumbo, has a typical seating capacity of 525, though it is certified for up to 853 passengers. It is powered by 4-engine Alliance GP7200 or Rolls-Royce Trent 900 turbofans providing a range of 8,000 nmi 14,800 kilometers. As of August 2020, Airbus has received 251 firm orders and delivered 246 aircraft. Emirates is the biggest A380 customer with 123 ordered, of which 118 have been delivered. Background. In mid-1988, Airbus engineers led by Jean Roeder began work in secret on the development of an ultra-high-capacity airliner, UHCA. Both to complete its own range of products and to break the dominance that Boeing had enjoyed in this market segment since the early 1970s with its 747. McDonnell Douglas unsuccessfully offered its double-deck MD-12 concept for sale. Lockheed was exploring the possibility for a very large subsonic transport. Roeder was given approval for further evaluations of the UHCA after a formal presentation to the President and CEO in June 1990. The megaproject was announced at the 1990 Farnborough Air Show. With the stated goal of 15% lower operating costs than the 747-400. Airbus organized 4 teams of designers. One from each of its partners, Aerospatiale, British Aerospace, Deutsche Aerospace AG, CASA, to propose new technologies for its future aircraft designs. The designs were presented in 1992 and the most competitive designs were used. In January 1993, Boeing and several companies in the Airbus consortium started a joint feasibility study of a very large commercial transport (VLCT), aiming to form a partnership to share the limited market. In June 1994, Airbus announced its plan to develop its own very large airliner, designated as A3XX. Airbus considered several designs, including an unusual side-by-side combination of 2 fuselages from its A340, the largest Airbus jet at the time. The A3XX was pitted against the VLCT study and Boeing's own new large aircraft successor to the 747. In July 1995, the joint study with Boeing was abandoned, as Boeing's interest had declined due to analysis that such a product was unlikely to cover the projected $15 billion development cost. Despite the fact that only 2 airlines had expressed public interest in purchasing such a plane, Airbus was already pursuing its own large plane project. Analysts suggested that Boeing would instead pursue stretching its 747 design, and that air travel was already moving away from the hub-and-spoke system that consolidated traffic into large planes, and toward more non-stop routes that could be served by smaller planes. From 1997 to 2000, as the 1997 Asian financial crisis darkened the market outlook, Airbus refined its design, targeting a 15 to 20% reduction in operating costs over the existing Boeing 747-400. The A3XX design converged on a double-decker layout that provided more passenger volume than a traditional single-deck design. Airbus did so in line with traditional hub-and-spoke theory, as opposed to the point-to-point theory with the Boeing 777. After conducting an extensive market analysis with over 200 focus groups, although early marketing of the huge cross-section touted the possibility of duty-free shops, restaurant-like dining, gyms, casinos and beauty parlors on board, the realities of airline economics have kept such dreams grounded. On the 19th of December 2000, the Supervisory Board of newly restructured Airbus voted to launch a €9.5 billion $10.7 billion project to build the A3XX, redesignated as A380. With 50 firm orders from 6 launch customers. The A380 designation was a break from previous Airbus families, which had progressed sequentially from A300 to A340. It was chosen because the number 8 resembles the double-deck cross-section, and is a lucky number in some Asian countries where the aircraft was being marketed. The aircraft configuration was finalized in early 2001, and manufacturing of the first A380 wing box component started on the 23rd of January 2002. The development cost of the A380 had grown to €14 billion when the first aircraft was completed. Total development cost. In 2000, the projected development cost was €9.5 billion. In 2004, Airbus estimated that €1.5 billion $2 billion would need to be added, totaling the developmental costs to €10.3 billion $12.7 billion. In 2006, Airbus stopped publishing its reported cost after reaching costs of €10.2 billion and then it provisioned another €4.9 billion. After the difficulties in electric cabling and 2 years delay for an estimated total of €18 billion. In 2014, the aircraft was estimated to have cost $25 billion £16 billion, €18.9 billion to develop. In 2015, Airbus said development costs were €15 billion £11.4 billion, $16.64 billion. Though analysts believe the figure is likely to be at least €5 billion $5.55 billion more for a €20 billion $22.19 billion total. In 2016, the A380 development costs were estimated at $25 billion for 15 years, $25 minus $30 billion, or €25 billion $28 billion. To start the program in 2000, the governments of Germany, France and the UK loaned Airbus €3.5 billion and refundable advances reached €5.9 billion $7.3 billion. In February 2018, after an Emirates order secured production of the unprofitable program for 10 years, Airbus revised its deal with the 3 loan-giving governments to save $1.4 billion 17% restructured terms, to lower the production rate from 8 in 2019 to 6 per year. On 15 May 2018, in its EU appeal ruling, a WTO ruling concluded that the A380 received improper subsidies through $9 billion of launch aids. But Airbus acknowledges that the threat posed to Boeing by the A380 is so marginal with 330 orders since its 2000 launch that any US sanctions should be minimal. As previous rulings showed, Boeing's exposure could be as little as $377 million. In 2018, unit cost was $445.6 million United States dollars. In February 2019, the German government disclosed that it was conducting talks with Airbus regarding €600 million in outstanding loans, following the decision to wind down the A380 program. Europe argues that the subsidies in effect no longer exist and that no sanctions are warranted.